My name's Colleen Stiles, and my kids and I did our wills on LegalZoom.
We created LegalZoom to help you take care of the ones you love. Go to LegalZoom.com today and complete your will in minutes. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Well, if you are leaving the house right now, just for a little bit of a reminder for you, you can continue watching CNN from your mobile phone. You can also watch CNN live from your desktop. All you got to do is go to CNN.com/TV. Well, this afternoon, soldiers from the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment will take on a time-honored duty. The Old Guard, as it's called, will place an American flag on each of the more than 260,000 graves at Arlington National Cemetery. Monday, as you know, is Memorial Day, and Arlington leads the nation's tributes to fallen service members, past and present. President Obama will take part in those ceremonies as well, 11 a.m. Eastern, 4 days from today, and you'll see it live right here on CNN. Now I want to tell you about one brave Marine who fought for our country and paid a high price for it while serving in Iraq. Justin Constantine was shot in the head by a sniper, a sacrifice that not one of us should ever take for granted. It's stories like Justin's that will bring thousands of people out to the Memorial Day concert on the Capitol lawn this weekend. Daughtry, Natalie Cole, Trace Atkins, all a part of the 23rd year that the National Symphony Orchestra and entertainment A-listers will salute America's veterans, troops, and our military families. And for co-host Joe Mantegna, our favorite FBI agent on CBS's Criminal Minds, this will be concert number 7. He joins me now live from Washington with Marine Reservist, veterans advocate, and wounded warrior Justin Constantine. Guys, great to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Thank you.
Well, Joe, what's it like to sit next to a man like Justin and just know about his story, become friends with him? Yeah, I bet we've got some funny stories too, but,
oh, yeah.
But, you know, just warriors like him, you know, what keeps you coming back to this event?
Well, that's what keeps me coming back. I mean, actually, I've been doing the concert for, this will be my 11th year doing the concert and my 7th year co-hosting with Gary Sinise. But, you know, to put it in one sentence, I've been lucky in my life to make a living doing what I've had a passion for since high school, and that's being an actor. And as an actor, I've had many opportunities to portray heroic people. It's not every day I get to sit next to and be a friend with a real hero. And so that's the difference. It's one thing to play pretend, which is what I do for a living. It's another thing to do what Justin has done and does for a living. So, I mean, I along with the rest of this country, are forever and eternally grateful to the sacrifices our men and women have made in the military. And so it's a privilege to be here, and it's a privilege to be a friend of his.
Ah, and Justin, I understand you even got to visit Joe on the set of Criminal Minds. What was that like?
Well, you know, it's always inspiring for us to go and have a chance to hang out with some of these folks like Joe who have true star power and help make sure the country doesn't forget about the sacrifices of those who have gone before us. So I was thrilled to be a part of that.
And, you know, let me ask you about that, Justin. This Memorial Day concert that happens every year, what does it mean to you beyond the music, beyond the stars like Joe that show up and show their support? I mean, there's something that we all need to take away from this, yes?
Absolutely. The Memorial Day concert, in my mind, is a fantastic opportunity to remind America about the sacrifices that so many of our service members and their families have made. Just with Iraq and Afghanistan alone, over 6,400 service members have made the ultimate sacrifice. And so if we can create a good production that will remind America about why we're so great and who's out there protecting us, I'm really, really humbled to be a part of that.
And Joe, you're not just humbled by Justin's story, but I understand you actually took your uncle to a concert rehearsal, and it ended up being a pretty emotional moment.
Yeah, well, you know, I bring my one uncle, my Uncle Willie, who's with me today. He's going to be 90 years old. He's a World War II veteran, as were his 3 brothers. But a few years back, my Uncle Jack, who was a Marine like Justin, was on the USS Enterprise during World War II. The rehearsal happened to be his birthday. And the Commandant's Own, which is basically the Marine Drum and Bugle Corps, happened to be rehearsing as well. When they heard that it was my uncle's birthday, they all came down off the stage and in full uniform surrounded him and sang happy birthday to him.
Oh.
That's the first time I saw my uncle, who was in his 80s at that time, crying and look at me and tell me, he says, this was the greatest thing that's ever happened to him in his life. And so moments like that, you can't, you can't create that in Hollywood. That's life. That's something that I'll always remember. And as Justin said, it's just part of why we owe so much to these men and women throughout our history.
And Justin, just to try and bring it back home, after 9/11, I'll never forget, everybody had an American flag on their car, in their front lawn. It was such a patriotic time for this country. As these wars have gone on, and then we entered the Iraq War, what do we need to do as Americans to support you, others like you, warrior families, in a time like this weekend, thinking of you, obviously, on the holiday, but past the holiday? How can we get involved? How can we support and understand what you and others are going through when you come home from these wars?
Well, that's a great question, and it's kind of complicated, actually. But I will say, without hesitation, that the American public, no matter where they stand on the political spectrum, have been amazing over the last 10 years in their support for our service members. For each and every man and woman who's gone over there to fight for this country, they've come home and see some great reception. So I really appreciate that. It's a whole different story than from Vietnam. And so we have a huge thanks. Today's service members have a huge thanks to Vietnam vets to make sure those mistakes will never happen again. Well, the American public can start helping, or can continue to help on a very granular level by helping people in their community who they know who are wounded or know who have returned, because believe me, they have their plates full trying to pick up the pieces from when they deployed. They can go and visit those families and babysit for them, make sure they can spend some time with their spouses or whatever. On a bigger level, though, there's many groups out there like the Wounded Warrior Project or Semper Fi Fund or Bob Woodard Foundation, or Gary Sinise has a great foundation. They can look them up online and contribute to those, and they can volunteer. There's a million opportunities to volunteer at the hospitals and in every community. Give an Hour is an amazing foundation for post-traumatic stress, which is a big problem with our returning service members. So I encourage every American to help support our troops because we need it.
Amen. Wounded Warrior Project, Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, two amazing organizations. Joe, thanks so much for everything you do. And Justin, we lift you up and thank you and honor you. Thank you both for being with me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, the time is 8 p.m. Eastern on Monday. The place, West Lawn of the U.S. Capitol. If you can't be there, you can see the show live on PBS. And remember, 11 a.m. Monday here on CNN, you can also watch the annual Memorial Day observance with the presidential wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknowns.
Today is going to be an important day for us.
You ready?
We want to be our brother's keeper. What's number 2 we want to do?
Bring it up to 90 decatherms.
How about you, Joe?
Alex, let's go ahead and bring it online.
Attention on site. Attention on site. Filtering is 9.
Some of the world's cleanest gas turbines are now powering some of America's biggest cities. Siemens answers.
Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. I. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum.
The redesigned 8-passenger Pilot. Smarter thinking from Honda.
I believe that the presidency is a management position.
It's time to stop spending.
I'm ready to go back to work.
America's Choice 2012, sponsored by AT&T.
Tonight, when Piers interviews Olympic swimmer Dara Torres, some hard truths come out.
You actually have no stomach.
Piers Morgan, tonight.
Not long ago, I had the privilege of working with David Santos. He's quite an inspiration. With 3 wine and cheese stores, his business was booming. But he still wanted to expand. We talked, then set up high-speed internet access and web hosting from Time Warner Cable Business Class. Now he has a website where he can take orders online. At this rate, I don't think he'll ever stop growing. This is David's business.